What's up, guys? Welcome into the TCP podcast. This is episode 4. Today, we're going to talk about several things that happened this week, things that we know aren't going to have any results or anything like that. Nothing's going to be done. So we're going to be doing probably 3 segments. The first segment we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the New York Post article. I'm not going to show it on the screen on the video because it seems everybody that shows the article gets thrown off. Now, I know BitChute's not going to. Now, if you are wondering on BitChute why this came up as episode 4 and not 3 is because episode 3 was live on YouTube. So every 3 episodes of the podcast, which means if you go by number, episode 6 will be on YouTube. You will have to watch it over there live on YouTube, but it'll still be available in the regular podcast format. I'm trying to feed both social medias right now. You know what I mean? All the places that I do stuff on. You know what I mean? Don't mind this big shadow on my face over here because the sun's out and I'm doing video early in the day and I have no black curtains, which I need big time. I don't use the thing behind us anymore. It's a waste of time. It takes too long to set up. Anyways, so if you're wondering where episode 3 went, BitChute, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. Episode 3, I will share the link in this description of episode 4, so you can go see 3. It was me and my brother, and we were talking about the elections in general. That was what we were talking about. This week, we're talking about the New York Post, of the article that was released with all the emails and stuff concerning Hunter and Mr. Joe Sleepy Biden. We're going to talk about that in the first segment. Second segment, we're going to talk about the Judiciary Committee and what they said they were going to do in the Senate. And then number 3, we're going to talk about what actually is not going to happen. Probably one of the segments my nephew is going to guest star so he can give you his opinion and stuff like that, so you'll be able to hear from him too. Like I said, anybody who wants to actually have a conversation with me on here, all you have to do is Skype. I'll give you the Skype number in the description. You can just Skype my phone. Set it up. We'll put the video. We'll splice the videos together, and we'll do a debate, and we can talk all you want. I really want to launch pad this podcast, so I hope you guys are ready. Right now, we're going to talk about the New York Post article. Now, everybody knows about the New York Post article. The New York Post article came out showing a computer that had been left at at a pawn shop and was never picked up, which technically makes the computer the pawn shop's property. If you know anything about pawn shops, that's how it works. If you leave something there and you refuse to pay to get it picked back up, to pick your item back up, it becomes their property and they have the right to sell it. So in that standard of how it works with pawn shops, what they did was they had to open up the computer, turn it on, go in, clear out the computer, factory reset it so they could sell it. That's what they had to do. And in there was discovered a bunch of emails, a bunch of pictures, and stuff like that. And you know the worst part about this whole situation about this was when this happened, when this computer was opened up and the hard drive was looked at and the emails were looked at and all that stuff concerning Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and their dealings with UK when they got the guy fired from UK for no reason, just because he were about to investigate his son. Who, God forbid we do that. We don't want to investigate his son because, And what we saw was a collective response from Facebook and Twitter to completely censor the story, period, for absolutely no reason. So this is the kind of stuff that we're in now. We are in that black area where censored stuff's just going to start getting censored left and right. And it was described in that book, in the book 1984. You guys just go look that up and read it, and you'll figure out everything that's happening now literally happened in that book. As our far as our left decides to go collectively into a socialist utopian paradise is what they want. So now, right now, they're suppressing the information. New York Post, a 200-year-old newspaper, okay, got their story censored and took it off Twitter. Not only that, the House of Representatives.gov, U.S. government, was censored on Twitter because of the story. Same thing. And now we have a situation where there was pictures found, there was emails found, talking about the dealings that were going on. all this stuff has already been proven to be Hunter Biden's laptop. All right. Obviously, the guy's a drug addict, so they need that. He needs that quick fix. He's gonna go. What do you call it? Drop his whatever he owns off at a pawn shop so he can get a quick bit of money, so he can go get another hit of whatever he's doing. Crack. There's some very racy pictures that were on that laptop that we all know. I'm not going to show those. Definitely not going to show those. BitChute, I don't think they would really care, honestly, when it comes to that. But it is adult pictures that were going on. Pictures of a woman doing stuff to him and things like that. Him sitting in a bed with a crack pipe in his mouth, things like that. All the stuff we knew about Hunter Biden in the long run. In the beginning when we first heard about all this story that's going on. But now we find out the New York Post just released the story, okay, as one of their October surprises. This is pretty much what it is. It's the Republicans, in my opinion, it's probably the Republicans or various government agents striking back at what's going on when it concerns Donald Trump and how people are treating Donald Trump for absolutely no reason. You guys still treat that guy like shit for no reason. He's just a president. When did we actually come into a moment in life where we actually give a damn about who's in the White House? We actually don't, because Congress makes the laws. It's got nothing to do with him. He just signs the bills. That's all he does, and he runs the federal parts of the country. That's it. I don't understand why we have so many problems with this president, but we've never had any problems with the corrupt officials like Obama, Hillary Clinton, and Biden. And this concerns the time frame of when Biden was vice president. That Hunter Biden would use his father's stature, which isn't much. He's like an old, feeble man. You know what I mean? To get his way and get money. This kid was making $82-something thousand a month. Do you know anybody in America that makes $82,000 a month? And you guys are so, and I can guarantee you Joe Biden, same way, makes a ridiculous amount of money every month. Okay? And you guys are sitting in a position right now where we have COVID going on, and you can hardly pay for this, hardly pay for that. Well, this guy's just living it up, living La Vida Loca like crazy with no problems, to use a pun from a song. Living a crazy life is what that means for the people that don't get it. They're allowed to do whatever they want. Now, this kid was making $82,000 a month. You know what I would do? I would kill for $82,000 a month. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine $82,000 a month? Can you imagine that shit? I could. And it would help everyone out a lot if other people could actually make that same amount of money, but you'll never see that because the government's got it built in a way, especially the Democrats, where the poor people stay poor, or in some cases, the poor people get poorer as, we move forward into the next generation of our country. And the New York Post released a story immediately after the story was broke on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter and Facebook both removed the stories. Period. They got rid of it. They're like, oh, nope, we don't need that guy. Bye. Gone. They got rid of it instantly. And I'm pretty disgusted to see that they actually just did that with no issues. And here's the thing. You want to talk about, they're like, oh, because the story wasn't verified, was what's his name's Jack Dorsey's excuse when it came to that, which is a lie. But you guys had no problem when they broke the story about Russian collusion, quote unquote, Russian collusion. You guys had absolutely no fucking problem with believing that story. But, something about your Democrat candidate, or you can call it your candidate when your candidate's actually Kamala Harris is the actual candidate. Joe Biden's going to be, like I said, sitting in the corner of the room in a wheelchair holding a little stuffed animal, drooling. That's what Joe Biden's going to be doing, because that's what is happening. You could tell that he's losing his mind, and he's had so many botches this week alone. It's just ridiculous, and nobody can see through it. Nobody can see through it. Everybody thinks that this is going to be the best alternative in the world. You really want Kamala Harris as president? Oh, excuse me, Joe Biden as president? Really? Give me a break, guys. Your TAD is getting kind of stupid. Your Trump syndrome there, you might want to, fix that. Take some medicine to calm yourselves down on that situation. But once the story broke, Twitter and Facebook had no absolute problem censoring the story because they said the story was unverified. But anything that's bad that gets put out about Donald Trump, They don't put unverified on there at all. It's funny how that happens. And then when Jack Dorsey proceeds to block the House government in the United States, their account on Twitter. I mean, I really give me a break, guys. Like you don't, you guys, if you guys can't see the big picture right now, you don't know what's going on. You are totally clueless. All right. Alls I see every day is more and more riots. I could care less about the riots right now. Right now, what we're dealing with is something that involves a criminal case that needs to be filed and looked at. And then come to find out, this was actually found in 2019. All right. Yeah. Isn't that great, guys? The laptop that's in question, where all these emails and pictures came from, were found in 2019. Last I knew, it's 2020. I don't know what people think, but to me, I think that's a little bit of something, because this laptop was found in all these things. Remember when Donald Trump was talking about, well, what about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and his dealings with UK and Burisma and all that stuff? And they kept, nope, they impeached him based solely on that. Okay. And the problem with that is the FBI has had this laptop since 2019 and they never released it. Obviously, there was a reason behind it. Obviously, we have corrupt FBI officials within the FBI still, all right? And these kind of people need to be fucking purged, whether anyone likes it or not. I really wish you people would step up and purge these fucking morons, but you guys don't do it. You guys won't do it. You guys won't do it. The FBI answers to nobody. The FBI answers to no government agent. They don't answer to the people. Nothing. They've been holding this laptop since 2019. The evidence was there the whole time, even during when they were going towards impeachment with Donald Trump. Exactly. Don't you find that kind of fucked up that all of a sudden now magically this is going to come out and New York Post gets the story? A 200-year-old paper who does their investigation like they're supposed to when it comes to journalism. They actually do journalism. They pull the story up, drop the story, and because we're this far away from election, all of a sudden Twitter, we find out that Twitter and Facebook are now literally in the back pocket of Joe Biden as we go on into the next election. And we talk about, and the thing that people talk about all the time is Russian collusion, Russian interference in our elections. Actually, folks, the people that are actually interfering in our elections currently right now are only Twitter and Facebook. They are the ones that are intervening in our election. As you clearly see on Facebook pages, Instagram pages. Yes, Instagram is from Facebook, so you guys stop thinking that Instagram's a different company, because you guys are morons. It's all Facebook. Facebook owns, 5 different platforms, something like that. You know, a monopoly that they're not supposed to have. That's like literally against the law, the monopoly that they have, but nobody does anything about that. You can thank Section 230 for that and all the back doors that they use to do class censoring across everything. And we talked about that in a previous episode. You can look at that episode, the episode that was about Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. That, oh my God, all 3 of those platforms got really mad at me for, because they know I'm telling the truth. They know that they're blocking out specific people that don't match their the collective brain right now. The collective brain is, let's drive straight into socialism. That's what's going on right now with that situation. But after the story was released, all of a sudden, out of the blue, magically, Twitter, Facebook take it down as an unverified story. And then Twitter tried to turn around and say that this was a hacked situation. We don't allow hacked materials on Twitter. Hacked materials. How is it hacked? Explain this to me. See, Dorsey's not going to be explaining this to anyone. There's another reason why we're going to talk about the Senate and what do you call it? Ted Cruz and Lindsey Graham announced the other day. You guys saw that interview where they're going to subpoena Jack Dorsey and Facebook both of them to the Senate Judiciary Committee to talk about why this kind of censoring is going on. Try and ask them why they're blocking government websites, this, that, the other thing. We're all going to hear, we'll hear about that in segment 2. And then segment 3 will be the wrap up. 3 videos on BitChute, 3 segments. That's the way it always goes with the TCP podcast. Now, we're standing here right now where we find out that we've known for a while. It's just they finally decided to come out with it, that Twitter and Facebook are now literally firmly in the back pocket of the Democrat Party right now. That's what's going on here. We knew these companies were left leaning, but at the end of the day, we knew that this was going to happen because they don't want to, because they said it earlier as late as 2-3 years ago. They said that we don't want another 2016. In other words, what they don't want is they don't want another Republican to ever be elected as president again. That's what the Facebook and Twitter are trying to say. But Twitter blocked the story saying it was hacked materials. Let's get into that. This is not hacked material. The laptop was returned to a pawn shop. After 60 days in a pawn shop, your item becomes no longer yours. Okay? Because you didn't come back to get it. What happens is you bring an item in, you get a little bit of money if you need to make it through the week or something, and then you come back, okay, and you pay back the loan on it, and then they give you your merchandise back. That's how a pawn shop works, all right? After 60 days, believe me, I've worked with pawn shops, and I know several owners of pawn shops in 4 or 5 different towns, including Dighton, Mass, and including Rehoboth. I know several different pawn companies. The one in Pawtucket, we all know about that. Anybody who knows in this area, Pawtucket Pawnbrokers, we know about them. The one that used to be in Attleboro, we're now in Pawtucket at the same time. There's another, there and there too. But this is how it works from judging by all the people I've talked to within the past week since the story broke. Okay, pawn shop, simple. 60 days. Some of them it's 30. Some of them it's 60 days. Some of them it's 20 days or whatever it is, or something like that. It depends on what they're doing. Most of the time, it's 60 days. It's anywhere between 30 to 90 days is how long they hold on to your item until you come and pick it back up, give them back the money they loaned you. You are giving them your merchandise so you can be able to buy something, and then you have to pay them back the money, or they keep your material. It's a trade, is what it is. Simple. I'm going to give you this to hold on to, then you give me money so I can do what I got to do for the week. In this case, Hunter Biden, so he can get his little crack fix all week. Anyways, that's kind of mean, but whatever. I don't care. Drug addicts make me laugh. If you die of an overdose, I'm not going to care, because that's your fault. Because we learned there's a thing called no. That's a choice. Everybody can make the decision no to do drugs, but most people don't. So yeah, that's how it's going to be. Anyways, what happened is simple. The pawn shop held on to his merchandise for a certain amount of time. I believe this pawn shop was 60 days. All right. Then what happens is if the person does not come after they call them numerous times, if the person does not come to pick up their merchandise, then what they do is they will open up the laptop. They will turn it on. They will purge the laptop of everything that's in there, delete it, whatever. Problem was, when he opened up the laptop, he realized it was Hunter Biden's laptop, showing actual proof and emails, because they were looking at it, because they have the right to do that, actual emails of stuff that was going on that concerned Hunter Biden and Joe Biden when it came to their Burisma dealings and their Chinese dealings and stuff like that. All that crap that everybody said was not happening, but now is found out that the evidence is right there. And what they did was before they deleted the laptop, when they figured out whose it was, they turned around and they called the FBI. Now, this is in 2019. The laptop has been with the FBI since, all right? We have no idea who leaked all that information, but the FBI has held on to it since 2019. This means the FBI has had evidence confirming Joe Biden and Hunter Biden doing this stuff, okay? But they didn't release it to the public or give it to the government to let the government know what was going on. It was a reason. It's because during that time period, they were in the process of impeaching Donald Trump for absolutely no reason. You saw that blew up in their face. Party line vote to get him impeached, and then the Senate's like, nope, sorry. Even some Democrats were on board with not impeaching Donald Trump on that situation, so that really didn't work out for him. Now all of a sudden, we find out that the FBI has had this laptop and this evidence since 2019. This is the disgusting reality that we live in right now. So I formed the basis of the story and what's going on with the story. In the next segment, number 2, we're going to talk about segment number 2 will be filmed for video later on tonight. It's a whole day process. I do 3 videos at 3 different times because I got to go to work soon. There's the basis of the story and why this happened. The information was not released to the government because they were too busy impeaching Donald Trump for no reason. So the FBI held this evidence away from that when it had a lot to do with the impeachment case. This means the FBI that everybody trusts so much was withholding information. That's the problem. All right? And these are why these kind of places, the FBI, CIA, Department of Homeland Security, need to be regulated and we need to know what's going on with these bodies of government and stuff like that. But clearly, as you see with the Joe Biden story and the Hunter Biden story, we're never going to have transparency when it comes to the FBI, which is something we desperately need, whether people like it or not. We need to have transparency with the FBI and our intelligence agencies so we know what's going on when it comes to this stuff. It's pretty disgusting that the FBI has held on to this laptop since 2019, and it's only till now, just before an election, that all of a sudden the information will leak. What that means is somebody in the FBI who is a fan of Donald Trump leaked the information, is what that is, and they leaked it to the New York Post. The New York Post puts it out as an article, and then immediately, because anything that hurts Joe Biden's feelings or can affect his campaign that he's not even running, because he's not even running a goddamn campaign. Everybody's doing it for him. It's not like he's actually doing anything for his campaign. Everybody's just running it for him. He uses these big-ass billboards to read what he has to say next, and still can't even formulate a sentence, even if he's reading off a teleprompter, which shows you about how good his presidency is going to be. So, that's on you guys. But when we saw this, when this information came out, Twitter and Facebook immediately jumped and showed their true colors, that they do not care about free speech. Twitter and Facebook don't care about free speech. They only care about their left-leaning ideology. This is the problem we're having with social media companies right now. All the way from Twitter up to YouTube and Google, all the same problem. We're having issues when it comes to that. All right? That's why if you want to get information out, go over to BitChute.com. Do your videos there. Yeah, granted, it's not going to be as lucrative as YouTube, but still, at least you'll be able to get your information out. Do these podcasts, you can get these informations out, because Spotify's not really bad when it comes to censoring, which thank God. You know what I mean? And it's a good program to do a podcast on. Like, I'm recording the podcast at the same time doing a video, and it doesn't bother me one bit. And there's no sync. The only thing that's different is there's 25 seconds less on the regular podcast than there is on the video, because the video has the intro, the TCP podcast splash screen. And you know what I mean? This is the only way you can get information out. It's clear right now that presently Twitter and Facebook are firmly in the pocket of Joe Biden. And now with the Senate Judiciary Committee announcing what they claim they're going to do, we're going to talk about that in segment 2. So I'll catch you guys in segment 2, where we're going to talk about this House Judiciary Committee supposedly subpoenaing Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg to the Senate chambers, before the Judiciary Committee to, supposedly they're going to do something about it. Okay? The only way anything is going to be able to done about it is to reform Section 230. That's what needs to be done. All right? I can guarantee you we're going to talk about that in the next segment. Next segment will be coming up momentarily. I hope you enjoyed segment 1. This is TCP Podcast, the New York Post life of what's going on this week and things like that. I'll catch you guys in segment 2.